Welcome to CPF Firewire, a podcast from California professional firefighters where we discuss a wide range of issues affecting firefighters, our unions, our families, and the communities we serve.
Hi, everybody. Brian Rice, President of the California Professional Firefighters. I welcome you today to the CPF Firewire. And today we're putting together a Firewire that between the Firefighters First Credit Union and myself and Dixie, we've been kind of threatening each other. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. And it took a little time, but I'm here today with Dave Lillie, who is the Senior Vice President for Member Services, and Mike Canny, who is the Vice President of Tax Services. And, I meet a couple times a year with Dixie and staff from the credit union, and I've always thought, most of our members know about the credit union, but there's always little things that are available through the credit union that you members might not know about. And I thought, what, we should just do a sit down. It's services that's provided to the membership. And so I got Dave and Mike to sit down today, and we'll talk about just about anything. But really, Dave, we were talking earlier, and we were talking about the history of the credit union and where you and I started all those years ago in Sacramento, but kind of run us through the beginning of the credit union to where the credit union is today, and kind of that evolution.
No, it's really special. Back in the early 30s, as FDR creates the Federal Credit Union Act, and you have just mushrooms of credit unions spring up everywhere, right? So in 1935, downtown LA, Station 28's on the third floor. A couple of guys throw some money into cigar boxes. At that time, the city was growing. It's crazy. We have pictures where it's LA and there's just nothing.
Yes.
There's orange groves and hills. And about 800 guys on the job. They're bringing guys on like crazy. They don't pay for the gear back then. And it's the middle of the Great Depression, so nobody has any money. So guys had been on the job for a while. They throw money in a cigar box. They're on the third floor. If they are running the credit union for that month or whatever, they don't have to pay their house dues.
So the guys on duty guys switched off.
Yeah.
Who is staffing or who's running the credit union that day? Almost like who's on the watch desk.
100%.
Wow.
And so they were able to lend out money. And then, literally by the end of the first year, about all 800 guys in the department were all members of the credit union. And it takes off from there. And what I love to say, and I am really adamant with our membership is, you fast forward almost 90 years now, right? It's 89 years. This past November was 89 years. So now we're in our 90th year as a credit union. And it's the same cigar box. It's firefighter money in and firefighter money out. And I get chills talking about that because it's pretty awesome because, that's what formed the credit union. And everything we do, people say, oh, it's banking. It's so complex. And I'm like, I can go to anybody in my staff and say, it's so simple. These firefighters put their deposits in, and these firefighters need loans. And it's the same money coming in and coming out, which people understand what latitude that gives us to be common sense and to do things on behalf of the Brotherhood of Firefighters.
When we first started talking, how big was a credit union then? Was
it
a couple of offices or
No.
was Northern California second or third?
So your conversations would have started before we opened the Loma Linda office, and that was the first ever office outside of LA. Up to that point, you had 78 years of one location.
Wow.
And we served
it stayed in that location for those,
Well, we moved. We're on
moved around in the
Temple,
city.
then we built the branch or the building that we're in now on Colorado Boulevard, and then we bought the building down the street, and we sold the building. But we were out of one location until we opened that second location in Loma Linda during the conversation we were having with you guys. And then Sacramento, which is now in Roseville, we moved it a few years back, was the second location we opened. So we had one in San Bernardino County, and then one up here in Sacramento. And really really appreciate, your relationship. That local 522, Sac City, Sac Metro was huge, and inviting us up here.
Yeah, I remember we co-located, credit union was in our union hall on Folsom Boulevard. And I'd want to say they had an office, but it was like a closet.
It was definitely a closet.
They had a desk and kind of worked out of there. And that is part of what I want to talk about is the services offered to make sure that our members know if they're not credit union members and new members, because we're bringing in new members all the time, that joining the credit union is something to consider. And not just for car loans.
Right.
And that's something that I learned, and I haven't even dove into other services, whether it's you guys do financial planning, and I kind of want to talk about all of it. Mike, you do tax services?
Yep. I do tax services, and it's just one part of our whole wealth management package that we have. So, as firefighters come on the job, they get that big check, and the first thing they want to do is go out buy a nice shiny pickup truck, and it's great. You got all that money, but what we like to do is we like to help basically make the firefighter successful. We want to. You've got a short career. It may not seem like it. You early on, you're like,
that's a pretty profound point.
Yeah.
That it can be a very short career.
Yep. And you've got to be planning for the future. So, in addition to the tax services, we've got trust services. We're able to help with like estate planning and provide guidance on that. We've also got our financial services. So that's our investment platform where people can go and, get help with investments and financial planning that way. And then we also have insurance services. So we've got this whole suite of wealth management products. And, you say wealth management, everyone's like, well, what does that mean? Like, I'm not wealthy. I'm just a fireman. And everyone can benefit from wealth management, because with wealth management, if you have a goal, you have a financial goal, whether it's to buy a house, put your kids through college, save for retirement, those can be helped with wealth management. And what that does, that is looking at your investments, trying to create a budget, trying to squirrel money away. What type of plans do you have available to you? Take advantage of, like, you've got your pension, but like all the tax deferred accounts that you can use, trying to use those so that you can truly save, build wealth, make not only you successful, but your kids successful, and have a, hopefully long, happy retirement.
When the credit union first became available, it was men and women of all ages, because we'd never had it before. And I'm hoping we're capturing and seeing younger members take advantage of being a credit union member. Are you seeing that?
Yeah, 100%. Very representative of what's going on in the fire service today, right? The millennial generation is the pronounced generation in the fire service today, right? A lot of all us old guys with the gray hair and the less hair are on their way out the door, and millennials have taken over, and now Gen Zs, coming in crazy. You know how hard it is to recruit today in the fire service. You guys are matching the business service, the business world, unfortunately, with hard to hire. And so lots of Gen Zs, lots of 18, 19, 20-year-old kids coming on the job. And the good thing about that, like we said earlier, it's not just buying the truck. Our mission is to improve the financial life of our fire family. And so you step back and think about that, right? What does that mean? It means that we're there to lend money. We're there to help you save. We're there to refer you for life planning in terms of estate planning, your tax services, et cetera, and retirement. And hopefully, I always talk to firefighters that bring their kids in. We're going to tell them the same thing you're telling them, but they'll listen to us because they're sitting behind the desk, right? They won't listen to dad, but they'll listen to us. Same thing with the young firefighters, right? Union guys do a great job of saying, hey, don't go buy the $80,000 pickup. Now it's a $100,000 pickup. Probably. Don't go buy the $100,000 pickup. Save your money, get past your probationary period. We're going to tell them the same thing, and so we're not out there to try to drive them into loans and make income. Again, everything we get is it's firefighter money in and firefighter money out. So the way it was in 1935, it's just $2.2 billion today, which gives us a lot of latitude to have
$2.2 billion.
Billion dollars. But that gives us
How
the
big
ability.
Is that cigar box?
It's pretty big. But if there was cash, but there's no cash anymore, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But that gives us the ability to invest in AI, to invest in better technology resources, to have that branch in your pocket, right? Which everybody wants.
So speaking of that, kind of all the services, how you're able to deliver services, because you're a firefighter organization started by firefighters, what are some of the advantages that the credit union is able to help firefighters with when it comes to working around the work schedule? A lot of our wives do a lot of our banking and stuff like that when we're on duty. How's a credit union adapted to fit our profession?
We know you guys, right? So we open at 7 a.m., which is generally when shift change. Most shift change is 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. So we're there when you get off shift, right? We do have the mobile bank in your pocket. We are driven, our entire board of directors was always and continues to be active or retired career firefighters that are driving that mission through Dixie, through myself, through Mike, in terms of what the strategy of the organization is and how we take care of the brothers and sisters in the fire service. So always looking at those opportunities to make sure we're doing right by firefighters. We don't work with cops. We don't work with teachers, right? So we have to support, the firefighters that support us.
And then, Mike, looking at the services, and I always see like tax planning, any financial planning. What are a couple of things that you think are super important for young firefighters and young families to start planning for now?
So I think the first step is to start thinking of the future. So a lot of people, they like to live in the here and now, and that's great, but you've got a pension. But what else can you be doing to save for the future? Because when you get older, your kids are grown, they're going off to college, you're not going to be able to take advantage of a lot of the tax deductions related to that. So you need to be thinking of saving for your kids' college right now. As soon as you can, get the Roth IRAs if you have the option to get like a Roth, or take advantage of as much retirement stuff as you can now, because that compounds long term. And then as you go, you can get the estate plan. You can, maybe first year on the job, you just got a W-2, nothing too complicated. You don't need your taxes done by a professional just yet. But if you do, you go with the credit union. They can, when they say, hey, you got something complicated, talk to Mike, send him over to our department. Then we're able to kind of work together as a team, because the whole credit union, just like the fire service is a team, the credit union's a team. We know where our strong players are at, and we try to go and shift them off like, hey, go talk to David about this, talk to Mike about that. And we know what you need. And so yeah, just start that conversation, reach out. If you don't have other retirement besides your pension, get something else besides the pension. Pension's great, but you can't count on it, and you never know how long your career is going to be.
You still have to plan. And I think that's one of the things that worries me for members coming in and new on the job is just because you have a pension and there's security there, you still need to plan around it.
That's where the partnership's great, though. I mean, when you were at Local 522 and all the locals we work with today, we get so many opportunities to go in and present to new recruit classes, right? So right out of the gate, they're hearing it from the captains on duty. They're hearing it from the training officers. They're hearing it from the union guys. They're hearing it from the credit union. And they're, this is what we're there from a consultative perspective. So, what you said is like, what's the most important thing? I think it's the handholding, and it's the consultative approach that we take, because we're not in it for the money at the end of the day. We give back money at the end of every year, so.
What's interesting about that, Dave, is that when I have, and my wife, when Liz and I have an issue, financial issue, banking issue, we have one person that we call at the credit union, and we have her number, and she will get us exactly where we need to be, whether she can handle it for us or she knows and that is one of the things that it's personal.
Yep.
And
it's amazing you said. We have a group of advocates, about 35, 40 advocates, and they say exactly that. The thing that makes the credit union special, I got a person. And Mike knows Mike's stuff. I know my stuff. But I know Mike, and I know everybody else that I can get you to somebody, and you have that at the credit union.
Sometimes it's just the person that's at the desk when you go in. I know if I call, and I won't use names because I'm going to call it. But you have a person you establish a relationship with. I can call and I can get placed in the exact right spot I need to be. The other one, and I see this more now. I was seeing it a little bit with 522. I'm seeing it more and more with CPF. Are you seeing a growth or an expansion in the business banking? And is that something that, the members that the CPF represents, do our members know about it?
So I think that's an area that probably isn't as well known as a lot of the individual services. With the business banking, we have a platform that really is very powerful for businesses to be able to take advantage of. If you also, as far as loans, we can do loans for rental properties and help with individuals trying to go and get their business started. But that's not all it is to a business, right? So we do have, like with the wealth management side of things and with tax services, we have the other features that are nice. So they can call up, they can talk to me or a member of my team and kind of talk through what are the tax advantages of being an S corporation? What about being, a Schedule C? should I be with this rental property? What should I be doing with it? Or this business, should I be paying wages out, separate bank accounts, all that stuff? You can call up and you can talk to us and we can walk you through what those advantages are. We're not going to tell you you have to be here or have to be there, but we can listen to your goals. We can kind of figure out what direction you're taking that business and give you some guidance. S corporations are great. They're a great way to save money, but they come with a lot of, rules that go with it. You have to basically treat it as a separate business. You've got to pay yourself wages. There's lots of things with it that you have to do, and it adds to record keeping. It adds to basically overall administrative headache and burden. And sometimes firefighters don't want that extra burden. Yeah. And so we can just kind of lay all the cards on the table and help guide you to what the best solution for you is. So, and then the other big area of our business banking, the area that's really taken off is business banking, is with the unions. So when you think of businesses, you're thinking of the firefighter starting up their own business, or maybe their wife owns, their own business as well. But unions, they utilize these business services all the time. And with the credit union, it's been so popular. We actually have dedicated personnel just for the unions to help onboard them and to help get their accounts set up. Through tax services, we can help them with their bookkeeping, with their 990s, help them apply for their tax exemptions. So, locals trying to start up their own 501c3, they can give us a call and we can help walk them through how to do that. At least from the tax side of things. You need a lawyer to be able to create some of the organizational documents, but we can help, navigate what a lot of that stuff looks like. And so, there's a lot of valuable tools that we have for businesses and for unions.
Where else can you go where they know? I have 100 other union accounts, right? And so they're able to glean information from us on what other locals are doing, how they're running their charity accounts, how their PAC accounts are running. And we do it all at no fees. That's the difference. So if you go to a union bank, I can't tell you how many thousands of dollars we've saved for unions and small business over the years because the fees are paying. They're exorbitant. If you go to a retail bank, you're paying crazy fees. You're getting the same level of service from the credit union, whether on your business banking side or on your personal side. And that's the biggest difference. And the financial literacy he's talking about. We do classes on doing 1 to 40 unit financing and how to make build your business on that and do those things to help the firefighter do that.
I was thinking about it, Dave, years ago, my kids, actually, it was when their first year they were married. We set them up with the credit union, and I haven't thought about it since. But it'd be a good time to ask: what other members of my family or a firefighter's family would be eligible to join the credit union?
Yeah, generally, without getting into nooks and crannies, it's that's another great thing about the credit union. Everybody is only a member because of firefighters. It starts with a firefighter. Your family is eligible once you're a member. Right? So I can't be a member until my firefighter spouse is a member. So it's a firefighter, their spouse, their mother and father, their children, grandchildren, and grandparents, and then their brothers and sisters. Not their sister-in-law, not their cousins, nephews, nieces. It's very, I always like to say it's the people that are directly affected by your career.
Okay.
What parent's not proud of their kid for being a firefighter? What spouse is not affected by their firefighter, spouse and kids and so forth? So that's kind
mother, father, brother, sister, children.
Yep.
That's it. And that's okay. I can follow that. And then like we were talking about business and business services, Mike, I want to go back to, taxes, because as soon as we get done with the holidays, guess what's coming? We're all going to start getting our tax documents. And what are some of the tips and just coming into tax season? What do you want to see a member coming in with? And I'm sure that the fees are competitive with anybody else as far as personal taxes go, but kind of talk us through that.
Yeah. So as far as fees go, our fees are very competitive. We start at $250 for the fees, and they're all posted online. And we offer free quotes too. That way you know what you're jumping into. But as far as like the planning and getting ready for tax season, it's nice to just make sure you think about some of the things that you spent money on during the year. A lot of people don't think about, solar credits. So if you put solar panels on, potentially electric vehicle credits, There's also like energy improvement credits, dependent care stuff. So if you're paying child care, just think of all the things that you've spent money on and kind of jog your memory, just to make sure you have the receipts and that you know what it is that you spent the money on. During our tax appointments, we'll go through that again and just make sure. But if you're a procrastinator and you wait till April to start getting all your stuff together, you forget. Like over the course of the year, I can't remember what I had for lunch yesterday. Never mind, what I did last January. And so just going through and trying to start thinking about that stuff. The other thing is anymore, we're used to getting W-2s in the mail and
Yes.
all the tax documents in the mail. You don't get them all in the mail anymore. You got to remember, like, oh yeah, I had this mortgage and I need to go and get a 1098 or my W-2. I need to go and get off the website and, finding all your login
CalPERS
information,
or any of them. It's
all online.
Yeah.
So just kind of get your list and start thinking about that and getting that ready.
Talk to me a little bit about what the credit union as an organization is doing to be able to maintain the level of service that you guys have and that we're all accustomed to, and then about the potential for specialized services going forward. What do you see, and where do you believe the credit union needs to focus on to continue kind of that specialized care and benefits that we're seeing right now?
Well, strategically, I mean, anybody who's a member of the credit union anywhere has seen, that growth, usually in the community. Instead of opening up to community base, we stayed with firefighters, right? So it started in LA City, and we went to the surrounding, cities. Then we went to the state of California. 2017, we expand into, with a federal charter, and we go into Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico. And to your point, now we're in South Carolina and Florida. We're building a branch in Palm Beach County. 14 branches across the country right now, with two more coming. And really, it kind of answers the same question. It's we're so closely ingrained with the fire service, the lingo, shift schedules, what's going on. You talked about spouses earlier. Firefighters tell us anything, right? And as we get to understand and know what their needs, that's why we built business services. That's why we got really good at 1 to 4 unit. That's why we get really good at union accounts. So we kind of track where you guys are going, right? A lot of our shift, and we do a lot of focus groups. We have advocates, which are firefighters that are on the job that work closely with the credit union. And that kind of keeps our ear to the grindstone all the time. And that drives the change. That drives, we need to have this service. We need to add this. We want to do this. We'll talk to the focus group. They're like, that's a great idea. That's a terrible idea, And so really just kind of following that piece. And to your point about the service, again, only working with firefighters just gives us such an advantage in terms of understanding our membership. And shame on you if you don't know fire service after working here for a short period of time. I think we do a really good job with that.
Mike, what do you see coming up? Anything kind of in your areas that you want to dive into, or you see us? I guess it kind of goes to what Dave said. You're watching the trends in our profession and what we do as members. Are you seeing anything that would make you go, we need to kind of look into these areas? These are what we're seeing with our firefighter members and their families.
Yeah. So, I'm more on the financial, like wealth management side of things. And so I think what we're looking at right now is just how can we tie all the pieces together? We've got the banking, we've got the loans, but no one really knows about some of the other services that we offer. And how can we really help? Our goal is to make firefighters, their financial lives better. So if we can't get that message out there, then we can't complete that mission. So we just need to be able to grow and work on improving their entire financial lives with the investments, with the tax, the estate planning, just trying to get everything tied in together, get that holistic approach so that the firefighters' lives are better.
And as the community goes, the fire service goes, right? You have an unbelievable wealth transfer about to happen in this country. And it's happening now. We talked before here, talked about your parents before we started here. And so I think, mission of the credit union right now is the financial literacy piece, which goes along with what he's saying, right? That's how you tie the fabric together. It's the financial literacy. It's really targeting, you talked about generations, the Gen Z. What is it you need to know, right? What is it you need to know in your stage of your career with your parents? And how do we put those pieces together with the trust services and the retirement planning so that you feel I've got my stuff taken care of? Because I think that's the biggest thing that people have, right?
That's a great point in the financial literacy. Is just as we're talking and I was listening, Mike, you said it's it's tying it all together. And as a parent, you know, and a grandparent, and going to be a great grandparent here in a month, part of my job is to make sure that my kids and my grandkids are more financially literate than I was. You know, it's make it a little bit better. And that is one of the things that I've noticed with the credit union. And one of the things I want everybody who's listening, they're not paying me to be here today, and I'm not paying them. This is based on a working relationship that I had as a union president. And then, you know, doing some personal banking and personal shifting. I've never received pressure. I've never been solicited. This is a relationship that I think is built out of mutual respect and understanding, and that's what I appreciate, because you guys come to our district meetings. You know, you've been at our conventions and different places, and it is a breath of fresh air to go, I don't need to worry about the credit union. They take care of our members and provide a service. And that's why we're here today, is just kind of, hey, make sure that everybody knows about this. There is an institution that's made by firefighters for firefighters and focused on firefighters. And it's available to you if you're a firefighter in the state of California, and obviously in other states too. I know we're getting close to wrapping it up. Each of you, give me one thing, two things that you see important coming into the future that you would want us as a firefighter to know, whether we're a member or not. And Dave, I'll put you on the spot first.
Wow. You know, the one constant in this world is change, right? And I think just having a trusted place to go to get an honest answer, you know, and I love what you said. It's a partnership. It's a partnership, and you know, we only work with firefighters, right? So we're only good if you think we are, right? You tell a firefighter, right? That
Very true.
So, you know, I think it's just really important. Things are changing. You know, Mike's, you know, got a lot on his plate in terms of what are taxes going to do next year? What exemptions are going to go? You know, what is that going to look like? You know, and I've had firefighters tell me for the 12 plus years I've been with the credit union, I love going to the credit union because you guys shoot me straight. And I love firefighters because they shoot me straight. When somebody complains or says something, I take it as a compliment that you guys will tell us what we did wrong so that I can try to correct it. You know, I'll give you a 0 and just disappear. You punch us right in the nose, and it gives us an opportunity to fix it so it doesn't happen to the next guy. And that's, you know, I want to be that service for you guys.
Love it. Mike?
Yeah. Well, my big thing, I'm just going to go back to like planning. Just whatever you do, just pick up the phone call and just start the whole process of planning, because you really, you don't know what the future holds. And just getting that process started with your legacy planning and wealth planning, just getting that whole thing started. The hardest part to do is picking up that phone call and making that call. Just do it. Just one step at a time, you know?
Yeah.
So
it takes kind of that mystery out of it, because that is a lot for a lot of us. Like, I went through my whole career listening to people talk and think, wow, people have it really going on. Talking and reality are two different things. And I have seen that, you know, at a point in my career, doing some draws on deferred comp, and how important that 457 plan was, and planning and doing. It's not a mystery, and you got a place you can call to start, and that makes it a lot easier. I appreciate that. You guys, I appreciate the time we've had here. We're kind of at that closing point. If there's any points you want to make before we close out, I'll give the floor, Dave, to you, and then Mike, to you.
No, I just want to thank you, Brian and Mike, you know, with CPF and the partnership and giving us this voice. And I think it's great, you know, to get our message out. I think you made the point that, you know, everyone knows about the credit union, but they don't always know everything we do. And I think that's so true. There's so many things that we do, and, you know, it doesn't all hit you at one time, right? We talked about Gen Z to our age, right? Things change in your life, and just have that opportunity. So really appreciate the opportunity for us to have the voice and continue partnership.
Love it.
Yeah. Well, once again, I appreciate you inviting us on as well. It's always hard to follow David because David talks enough for both of us, but no, it's been great. The hospitality here has been great. Love seeing the facility, and yeah, just give us a call, as tax season approaches, or I think this is going to be coming out right around tax season. And give us a call, have a conversation with us. We'd love to talk to you and to just see if there's a right fit for you.
Well, I appreciate you guys, and I think what I'd leave listeners with, it's never too late to make a plan, and so never ever be afraid to make that call. Our credit union is a great resource across our state and across the nation. I'm Brian Rice. I am the president of the California Professional Firefighters, and I want to thank everyone for joining us here on the Firewire today with Dave and Mike from Firefighters First Credit Union, and wish everybody a great week and a great month. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.